Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Star Wars The Last Jedi. So let's start talking about this movie. Now, first of course, I'll have my non-spoiler portion and then my spoiler portion. So I'll warn you once we get to spoilers. Now, non-spoilers, I really enjoyed this movie. I feel like every Star Wars movie is an experience, and you really get to see that here. There's a lot of twists and turns, a lot of moments where you just want to cheer if you're a Star Wars fan. I will say my only, I guess, negative and positive kind of with it is that every character really gets a lot of screen time, but that also means you don't get to see as much of our main character, which is Rey, as much as you would want. At least in my opinion, as a Rey fan, I wanted a little bit more from her, but it was great to kind of get moments with Finn, new characters like Rose, obviously Poe, Leia, Luke. I feel like, yes, they try to spread it and give the love to everybody, which again is a positive, but like I still want more Rey. And I mean the action sequences are so good. Again, there's jaw-dropping moments. The visuals are so great. You get to see kind of new outfits, new kind of visuals for the film. Obviously you have the porgs, you got those little dog-like creatures, even like these ninja suits for some of the of Snoke's I guess army, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, the action is just jaw-dropping. So overall, I had a lot of fun with this movie. And of course, how do you rate it? You know, is this better than Force Awakens? Now, for me, this is a better movie than Force Awakens, and I do agree that Force Awakens is so much like, A New Hope. But I enjoyed Force Awakens more just because it was the experience of Star Wars is coming back, and you kind of first learn who these characters are. So I will always have a special place in my heart for Force Awakens, so in that regard I like it more, but this is the better movie. There's so many twists and turns with it. Now going into spoilers, of course, so who dies, who's alive, who tells their story, little Hamilton reference. But anyways, the deaths, Captain Phasma, Luke, and Snoke. So first, I mean, the Snoke scene. You love that we have Kylo, who you think, oh my god, they're gonna team up, and you actually get to see these, more middle ground, neutral, light and darkness characters, that they're not fully in the light and not fully in the darkness, but then Kylo Ren proves that he is still part of the darkness, he's still part of that, and I love those moments. I like that the good and bad is not so black and white in this film, which I always feel like Star Wars didn't paint as black and white, even if in the forefront it seemed that way. But I like that in some ways it was Luke who's the villain. You find out Luke is really who pushed him, pushed Kylo / Ben Solo to become part of the dark side. So I really enjoyed that aspect, and I like this movie is about mistakes. It's about being human. It's about learning from your mistakes, and you get this awesome Yoda moment where Yoda comes back in like his puppet form, not the CGI we got from the prequel, and says, hey, let Rey learn from your mistakes. And you see that with every character, with Finn, with Poe, with Rey, I guess, too. I would actually say Rey kind of makes less mistakes in this movie. But, of course, Luke. The biggest mistake is creating Kylo Ren. And in some ways, could you call Luke kind of the villain of the story in that way? But, yes, going into Snoke's death scene, it wasn't surprising, but it was just like, oh my god, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? And just the way this movie's shot, I love that you get to see, alright, one scene with Kylo, and then switches back to Rey, and you get a lot of those moments of switching back and forth, and it builds that tension really well. And then the next death, which was good at the moment, but a little disappointing we didn't get a lot, we didn't get to see her a lot, was Captain Phasma. So Captain Phasma seems to die. She goes into like a fire pit. And I wanted more from her just because it was promised we would get more from her here, and she just kind of dies and that's it. So I feel like they had some untapped potential with Captain Phasma. And then, of course, the biggest death, which is Luke Skywalker. And, I mean, you had the great moments with him. I like that he kind of denied his powers for so long, and that he does it to save Hope, and he has this awesome Force moment where he makes a kind of a hologram of himself to fight Kylo, and it uses obviously up all his energy, and he dies, and it's just a really good way to end the chapter for the original team, the original main characters. And I was surprised that Leia actually didn't die in this movie, but the way they end Leia's story is really well done, even though obviously they didn't expect to end Leia's story. I like that we get the answers that we were looking for, because the question always was, does Leia actually know how to utilize her Force? Did she have any training? And you have that moment where you think Leia's gonna die, and she just uses the Force to go back to the ship. And so it's kind of obvious that she's trained in some way with the Force, and she uses the Force a lot to know, oh, Luke died. There's just a lot of times where you can tell, okay, she is one with the Force, but she decides to be a general instead and not have all the lightsaber stuff. So I love those moments. If you're a Leia fan, I think you get a lot of satisfaction, you get a lot of humor with her, and just a lot of scenes with her, being a general, but also getting those answers of how much of the Force can she use. So I enjoyed those moments. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing. We got the Yoda scene. I also, again, I do like, in general, that, the way how Rey fought to figure out who she is. Oh, big one, her parents. So we find out in this movie that Rey's parents are nobody. So is it actually true? That's the big question. Did Kylo lie and say, oh, well, your parents are nobody? But at the same time, I think that brings a little interesting storyline. We get or interesting theme that Rey doesn't have to be somebody to be a hero. Anyone could be a hero. You don't have to have this famous name like the Skywalkers and this famous lineage to be a hero. And I feel like that's really the point of this movie, is we get to see the small heroes become this one group to fight against evil. We get to see Rey as the hero, Finn as the hero, Rose as the hero, and all heroes in different regards. And that's kind of what makes this movie so great. So yes, I really enjoyed it. I just had a really fun time with this film. A lot of great character moments, a lot of good twists and turns. Definitely didn't disappoint, and don't get yourself spoiled, because that's one of the best moments, is kind of coming into this movie fresh-eyed. So overall, I'm going to give The Last Jedi 4.5 stars. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think? This is Comic Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there are links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.